Hi, welcome back to another episode, The Other Side of 45, and we have our special series, X versus Z.
Yeah.
And this is the Bougie Canvas, and we are doing this series is Life After High School, and we have our special guest, Aidan, who is going to talk to us about her path after high school. So we're going to first start with, the first question.
So were you like active in high school, and are you active now in college? If you were active, or if you are.
In high school, I honestly really wasn't very too active. Like I didn't join any clubs. I did cross country and track when I was in high school. So I was able to make friends through that. But in college, I didn't join any clubs because the college I went to, North Georgia, during COVID times, they only had online clubs. And it didn't really satisfy anything. Like I wasn't able to, a lot of the clubs even like got shut down, or you had to pay to be in the club. So I wasn't willing to really do that.
You weren't willing to pay the fee?
No, I mean, like there was like, because it was all online. Like there's no point of paying a fee if I'm doing an online club. Like me and my friend, we were planning on doing the debate club, because we were like constantly just like searching debates, because it was near the political election and stuff, and we wanted to get involved that way, and we thought it would be a good idea to join debate. And then it was like they were asking, it was just like, it was pointless because it was all online, and I didn't really feel like a connection between that. So instead, I met some friends through skateboarding, and we kind of developed our own little, it wasn't a club, it wasn't like school related club, but we created a group chat in which like we would meet every like few days at the parking deck to like skate around and talk to each other, and just enjoy a common sport, I guess.
That's good. Jeez.
Yeah. But other than that, I was like, you really like up there, you really had to make your own kind of fun. Like the school didn't really offer much, considering. So it was.
Where is this school?
It's in North Georgia, Dahlonega.
I just couldn't remember where it was, because not a whole lot, especially with you coming from so close to Atlanta.
Yeah, I had a really hard time like making super close friendships because I didn't get along with the people there. The majority of the people there was like there was a few like cool people that I stuck with, and that I kind of stuck with like the whole 2 years that I was there. But other than that, if I went to a party or something, it was very hard to like communicate with people.
Very conservative town.
Very conservative town.
I know Dahlonega.
Yeah.
You know that.
Mm-hmm.
So, is college something you always decided to do after high school, or did you want to do something else?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with going to Milton, though, because that's the high school really encouraged not only going to college, but having these like really big career choices, like being a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, or an engineer or something. So I fell under that, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go in for nursing. I didn't even really like nursing. It was just kind of like, they didn't introduce like or encourage the arts as something that could be possible, or like sustainable even. And so I went into college doing nursing, and then after about like maybe 3 weeks, I've started meeting more people that were doing art, and I was like, I didn't even realize this was like really an option for me, because everybody my whole life has been, not everybody, like my parents were pretty pretty open to that possibility that I could be doing art. But in that particular school, Milton, it was very like, it's not sustainable. You shouldn't even waste your time on it. So when I found out there was actually people doing it, I wanted to be a part of that. So I switched to art education, and now I'm doing graphic design.
So
cool.
You're kidding.
You're doing graphic design?
Yeah.
I'm doing
I'm
studying too. Yeah, I'm studying graphic design.
That is so awesome. If I had known, girl, we went to the art center and saw the great Juneteenth exhibit. I have to talk to you about that afterwards, but it was so awesome. I didn't know. But anyway, so you brought up and for those of you listening, the two of them went to the same high school. I didn't realize until you just said that your school didn't really encourage it. It was more pressure on the STEM versus
I would
STEM.
say so. They did have a great art program, but I was never, when I was talking to my teachers or my counselor about college, it was always like, oh, these are like the popular majors. And then I would talk to my friends who were doing all sorts of like majors that just are more STEM. And it was, I just didn't feel like it was very encouraged to be a part of the arts.
So they didn't give you a lot of options. It was mostly they were more directing it to STEM.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe that, knowing, having had 2 kids go there, I absolutely believe that. Wow, but I'm glad you found your way.
Yeah. Took 3 times, but
what's 3 times? What does that mean?
So I went in as nursing, and then I went to art education. But I've been talking to my mom and actually I don't somebody from middle school that I used to hang out with. I met up with him, and I was talking to his mom because she was a teacher at Elkins, and they've all just kind of like, they don't think that teaching is what it was, and that if I'm not completely fully into giving up my time and money to teach K through 12, and I'm not fully committed to that, then I shouldn't get into it, because it's a,
I agree.
Yeah,
kind of gotta like
job.
it.
So it's like, you know, I don't think I'm ready for that.
Not like
you gotta really love it, because honey, I don't want to say it on podcast,
especially since they don't
children.
pay teachers that much money anyway.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a hush.
And like the parents always contacting you like at late nights and stuff, so you have to tell people when you're available after school, and then buying things for the classroom and stuff.
So you were before than you already started. No.
So you
make a lot of money.
They ain't poor. They just don't make enough.
My teachers used to act like they were poor. I was like,
they were acting poor, but they get paid a decent salary. But what they're saying is, if you compare it to what they're expected to do, they're not poor.
I think they are.
Yeah, it's just absurd.
I cannot believe it. I can't even talk. That's so funny. So you were first. It was your major was going to be nursing. I could never be nursing. Then you were going to
nurse either. I don't know why I did it. I have no clue.
Then the second one was art teacher, right?
Yeah, art education.
Education. And so now you want to do your major is graphic design.
Yes.
what do you want to be? Do you want to? Is there anything particular? Or you just wanted to be in graphic design? Because I've seen your artwork. Your mother showed it to me. Good job. I saw the mural that you did.
Thank you. Yeah.
Beautiful work. We'll put it up when your episode airs. She did it. It's really, really good. She's good.
Thank you. I don't know what I want to do, to be honest. I think, honestly, the way that I kind of decided it was I knew I didn't want to make my own art to be like as my career. I don't want to try to make it as an artist. I don't think I could make it. And then, well, I think it would like literally, I think it would kind of ruin my drive to want to do it. Because like I feel like I could get into a good rhythm and then all of a sudden just kind of crash, because that's kind of what's happening now.
Because you're doing art now.
I'm taking a break from it right now. I don't have really much inspiration to do it, and I feel like that wouldn't be a good career path if that keeps on happening to me. And I didn't want to do art education, and I think I could enjoy making art for companies that are looking for a particular, like if I was given a prompt, I could create what they're looking for. And I think like that I could be, like a logo or something, or a website.
That's exactly what graphic artists do. That's what y'all do. I think that's awesome. I was listening to a podcast this morning when I was exercising, and about this woman who did not know graphic design, opened up a company for stationery. It's a great story. And she was doing her art in Word. And as her company grew, she was doing art in Word. She was like, she didn't know what she was doing. But as her company grew, she did stationery and stickers and stuff. She had to hire a graphic designer because she said it was just getting to where she couldn't figure out how to do it. And so now she has a big, huge, nice company making stationery and planners. It's absolutely amazing story. So you could do that. I mean, if that's what I think, that'll be a great career path for you. Especially, I've seen your work. So what you got, Gay?
So would you say you've changed since graduating high school? Like,
yes,
you would.
Very much so.
Really?
I definitely think there's parts of me in high school that are still me. But I think I was definitely, I was less mature in high school.
Good for you for maturing.
Yeah, I'm still not like fully matured. Like I'm still not.
But you're maturing.
Yeah, I'm maturing. So I think like I've definitely changed in that sense. I think I'm figuring out how to make my life a little bit more like it's easier for me to process and deliver things. Like I'm a lot more organized than I was in high school mentally, and with like and because I was very all over the place in high school. I kept everything in my head, and I didn't I wasn't much to really share how I felt about things, and now I'm more able to communicate with people in a very good environment, I guess you could say. Like, yeah. I'm more able to point out who I want to associate myself with and who I don't.
That is a really good thing to learn, because not everybody can get that. And you're still very young. I know you might not realize that. So that's good.
Would you say like a lot of your friends went to college?
From high school.
Yeah, from high school.
Yeah, in high school, definitely. I think it was very much expected, especially for Milton, to go to high school. or to go to college.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, their numbers is like 90-something% go
Yeah,
to
they
yeah,
a
do
university.
encourage that
It
a
is
lot at Milton.
very high. It's very competitive.
yeah, and it was very
Okay.
like very much expected. Like if you weren't going to college, you were like, why aren't you going to college? But now that I'm in college, I've noticed that like half of my friends have already dropped out. I've
Really?
considered dropping out just because I wasn't
Okay.
sure what to
Thinking about it
necessarily do.
now.
I did take a break from college,
Mm-hmm.
um, more for like mentally, and I also didn't want to waste money if I didn't know what I wanted to do. There was no point of going if I had no idea what I was doing. Um, so I did take a break. Um, I decided that I do want to go back because I feel like digital design could do something for me. But I don't think that college is necessarily everybody's path. I don't think it should be expected
No.
from anybody to go to college. As long as you're working for what you want and being able to achieve that, I think that's perfectly fine. And that's what I didn't understand in high school. I thought it was like, oh, you're never going to be like, you're not going to be able to do anything if you don't go to college. That's like what I was taught. That's what I was like ingrained in
Yeah.
my head.
They stressed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got to college and I was like, some people like really make it. Like my friend, he is working at his Zaxby's and he is already the manager of it, and they're telling him that they're planning on giving him his own store. Um
Ooh.
yeah, so then he can obviously make a lot of money
Well,
by
they
doing
make good
that.
money. No, they
um
absolutely do. They make really good
yeah.
money. And if it's something you like, go for
He
it.
does
Like
like
go
it,
for it.
and he's going back to school just to get his associates in business, um, so then he can
Smart
learn how to
kid.
run a store. Um,
That's smart. That's very, very smart. Wow.
but yeah, I've definitely realized um, everybody everybody changes their mind after high school. Like it's
Yeah.
there's
Not what you thought. So what did you think? So what did you think it was going to be like after high school? Just not right when you were in high school, when you were planning your next step. What did you think you were gonna what did you think it was gonna be like?
I was excited to have freedom, but then again,
Everybody says
Yeah.
that.
It is nice though, like having your freedom, going like wherever you want, not having to ask permission. It felt nice. And it still
So
feels
you
nice.
thought that. Did you get that?
kind of.
Kind of.
I
Still
lived in the
rural?
dorms, and you were not allowed to go into anybody else's dorm at all.
Never?
Same.
Yeah, because it
Like
was COVID.
Oh, well,
And
that's right. Because y'all went to college in COVID. Yeah.
so it was difficult in that way. So like you still kind of felt like you had to like sneak around and stuff, which was kind of annoying. But like you were able to go out, which was nice, and like come back whenever you wanted. It was just like a little frustrating because if I wanted to spend time with my friend that I just met in her dorm, I wasn't able to do that without being penalized. And I actually did get penalized. I got a year's worth of probation for going into
What?
my friend's
what does
dorm.
that look like? So like yeah, what does probation look like? Like what did they do to you?
Honestly, nothing. It just shows up
Oh.
on your transcript saying like you broke
Oh.
some sort of conduct code. But the thing is, that's like really not fun because conduct code is like anything basically, and it's not specific. And this was a very minor, uh, situation that was for COVID, not like cheating or anything, or destruction of property. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I just went into one of my
Yeah.
friends' rooms.
So they can just interpret that however.
They sure can.
Yeah. So Technically not really, because I mean Georgia State still let me in. So I mean,
So what year are you going to at Georgia State?
so I'll be. I am one and no. Wait, what am I? Yeah, I'm 1.5 years in. Wait. Yep. Yeah. 1.5 years in. So after this semester, it'll be the end of 2 years of going to school, and then I'll start my junior year during the spring.
Okay.
Awesome. Are you okay?
Oh, okay. So would you say like you enjoyed college?
Yeah. I
Like,
think
what's your
I
favorite
I'm
part
surprised you
about it?
said that.
it depends. It like because college, okay, generally as a whole, yes, I do like college.
Okay. Good.
I enjoyed especially my second semester at UNG, the classes that I was taking. I was taking a
nice.
couple education courses that were kind of about social issues, which was really interesting. And it was actually like stuff that I wanted to learn about. I did art classes, like 2D, 3D art, and it was honestly like the classes itself were therapy to me. It's just very calm, interesting classes that I like to learn about, and have stuck with me, and I've had good teachers. But then again, I really had a lot of altercations with people in Dahlonega that have made that particular college, the college experience in Dahlonega, not fun, because I felt like I was in a bubble and that this is what the world is, because I haven't been outside of Dahlonega in I don't know how long, unless I take a trip to Atlanta, which I hardly ever did, or even Athens or something. So it made you feel like you were stuck in this bubble of just really nasty
Small
people.
town. I
Yeah.
grew up in a small town. I know exactly what that feels like.
Yeah.
You're right. You feel stuck.
And there was just I had a lot of altercations with people that just
Like
were
you fought
not.
them?
What?
Like you fought them?
One of them
That's
I
fine.
actually had to physically like kind of
Really?
So like
well,
who
one
won
of
the
them
fight of the
decided
night?
I was talking I'm just gonna say this because it's honestly like it should be said. There was this guy that lives with my friend, and I was talking to my friend, and this guy had this big crush on me. He was just a frat boy, tall guy and stuff. And he decided to put me in a chokehold.
Oh my
Huh?
God.
Yeah, like literally like this. And I was like freaking out. So I did have to like kind of pop him with my elbow and then
I love
scream
it.
like everything at him. And I
He's
reported him to the school because I was like, I'm not messing with
Wow.
this.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. But like I'm like that's the type of like crazy, just inappropriate behavior from especially guys that I've met there. The girls are relatively better, I would say, but definitely just small town conservative.
Small town. I'm telling you, it's a different horse. I'm telling you, those small towns.
Yeah.
so do you work in school? And like how does that if you do, like how does that work? Or how do you get
Um
money when you're in school?
so the way that I got money in school when I was in North Georgia was I was working at a small Greek restaurant on the square. And I was a line cook for a bit and a dishwasher. And I pretty much just tried to I tried to work as few hours as I could so then I could focus on school, but they were kind of like a failing business, and they didn't have we had maybe 4 total line cooks, which just isn't enough. I mean, that's what you have usually on like a daily basis. And so I was working about 40 plus hours a week while doing
Whoa.
40 hours?
Yeah.
While you were in school?
Dang.
And it was easier to do when it was COVID because everything was online. But then when I came back for the next year and I started doing it again, they were still pushing for like 40 hours, even though I would be like, look, I can't work those days, but they would offer me more money to do it. So I did. And then I kept thinking, so I ended up like getting the money that I needed, but it literally killed me.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. Like, you really have matured. You don't even realize it. You didn't even mention that is, oh my gosh, Aidan.
That's hard.
I ended up just quitting. I was just like, I'm not coming in. I didn't.
You did Gen Z quit. I ain't coming back.
Yeah,
no, that's exactly what happened. He withheld my paycheck from me until I came in to talk to him about why I left. And I said, you can mail me my check.
They were trying to force you to come back.
With hell.
Yeah. No. They were like, just explain why you left. I was like, do I really have to? Because I think I've explained it. Like, I'm in school.
See, getting a life out of high school. Look at these adult things that's happening. Holy cow!
Hold the check. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, you can mail it to me, or I'm calling the cops.
He and I would have been fighting. That just would have been it. You know how you check that, boy? That'd have been me and him. I'd have been like, dude, you don't play with my money. Like, for real. That's when you get to street me.
Yeah.
I don't even fight.
So I was literally like 2 weeks too that he was trying to do it, and I was like, "Have you?"
got
and
one
it
day
took him another week.
That lasted way too long.
Friday. The check will
Friday
be in my
afternoon.
Friday.
We fight.
Yeah,
way more patience than us.
You have a lot more patience.
He would have been clocked by 5. With my check.
Yeah. But I did not feel bad for leaving. Even there was just a lot of work drama there too, and I was.
They were just getting you left and right. You had no soft place to fall there.
Nope.
So, would you say that you do you travel while you're in school?
Honestly, so I would go to Athens sometimes. Like, it's not really like traveling.
Like in the country.
Yeah, I mean, I can't like. I would love to go travel. I haven't had a vacation in about like 4 or 5 years. So I was thinking about going to New York, like this winter, but I can't do that unless I find a job at Georgia State. But I would like in college back then. I would go to Athens, sometimes Atlanta. And I always think it's funny because I would always go to Atlanta and I'd be like, oh, I love it here. And then it just never really clicked.
You live here. I love that. It's so funny.
I was like, maybe I should just go to school there, you know? But it just felt so like Dahlonega was such a toxic relationship because it was so bad, but I felt like it's better than something new. And I'm always afraid of new things. So it just always drew me back. And I was actually gonna go to Georgia State last year. And and then I just didn't because I was too scared.
The devil you know. That's a saying. Sometimes it's easier to deal with the devil you know.
Yeah.
Than a new devil.
Are you thinking about like doing study abroad when you get to Georgia State?
I haven't given it much thought. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know how study abroad works. I would love to do it. I know my friend, she's in France right now, because she's doing study abroad with uh, Oglethorpe, and
Mhm.
she's been there all summer. Um,
Yes, I've seen that.
which honestly, that might be nice for me, especially if it's a summer like course, because I am half a year or a semester behind, so I could graduate on time if I did that. But it would also
That's a
be
good
really
idea.
interesting because I love to travel.
Good
I
experience.
just don't.
I just don't either.
So, what's some advice you would give to high school students leaving school?
This one, I think high school students shouldn't think too hard on what college is going to be like or what they should do with their degree. I think I would have been a lot better off if I had just gone into college with an undecided um,
Wow.
uh,
I love
degree at
that.
first, to take classes that, because the classes that I found interesting weren't classes that were taught in high school. They weren't talking about, like social issues or sociology or anything. They had a psychology course. I never took it in high school, but they don't go as in depth as they would in
No.
college. So I think going in as an undecided and then taking courses that might interest you, um, will help you decide what your career path could be or what your major could be. Um, because I took the risk of taking an art class when I was a nursing major, and I was like, yeah, I have to do it. And the education courses really, I really love the education courses. It was just the fact that, like, long term, I don't think I couldn't be an educator.
I'm glad you brought that up because, and I say this to the young people all the time who are always asking me questions. I think it's, although this is just the way the system is set up,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's kind of unfair to expect somebody that young to know what they want to do for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
And because even at my age, at 47, I have friends who I went to high school with in the 90s who went to school for a certain thing. I have so many friends who went to school to be nurses who later, after they got married, had kids, decided to go back to school and be teachers, and vice versa. A lot of teachers went back to school to be nurses because at that young of age, you're not really sure until you actually are in the job whether or not this is what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you just might change. I mean, think about how old you are now versus when you started, and you've already talked about the changes how different you are, and you're maturing. So as you mature, you get more experience, you're not going to be the same person, so you may not want to do the same thing. So it's a tricky horse. You do want to go and figure out something after high school, but I always tell young people when they talk to me is, don't feel bad about changing your mind. As long as
Yeah.
you're on this side of the death certificate, change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be stuck, because I have spent many years in a job I hated, and if you can avoid that, I say avoid that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, you have any more words for us?
Um.
What'd you want?
Hmm. I don't think so. I think it's really just honestly like you're not gonna know until you get there, and I mean, I personally just didn't. I didn't click with the school that I was at. I went there because I thought it looked pretty. That's literally the only reason I went. I was like,
Why?
yeah. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I think honestly, living in a small town, like I don't regret going because it's taught me a lot and what I don't want. And
Now you know.
yeah, and it's made me to be who I am, and I think honestly, I think a lot of people should at least live in a small town for like a small amount of time. honestly, I don't. I think it turns people to like build themselves.
I get what you're saying because my girls, I'm from a small town, so whenever they go back home, what I call back home for me, because they're born and raised here, but the difference, technically, yes, you will, but the difference, like they knew the difference when they were kids. They were like, I really want to go back home. So I agree with you. It is a learning experience, and I got a lot of my back home folks that listen to my podcast. I'm just saying, y'all, you know, this is why it's been so long since I've been back home.
It's boring.
I didn't say that. Don't be upsetting my folks.
It is boring.
You know that.
Everybody knows.
So
everybody.
I'm gonna let you go, Aidan, because now you gonna upset my folks. Don't do that. We'll have to edit that out. You cut that out.
No,
you're gonna cut that out because I cannot be upsetting people. Thank you, Aidan. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us. Have a good night.
Bye.
Okay, bye.